All right, how you guys doing today? We about to hop into a little reaction to first things first though. Just make sure you like that video, man. Hit a little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, and then full screen it back up. You feel me? So today we have an interesting video, right? I've always been fascinated with the concept of money and how it relates to not only salvation, but just the idea of wealth in general, right? There's obviously very rich Christians, there's obviously very poor Christians. Jesus obviously says that it's easier to get through the eye of a needle for a camel than to a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven. But at the same time, faith is free in Jesus Christ, and there's a lot of good things you can do with the wealth on this planet, and it's seen as blessings. And it's rather about your heart and where that is. So wealth is very weird. It's a very weird topic, a very nuanced topic, and like pretty much everything in Christianity. I say pretty much, not being a teacher. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a pastor. I can't definitively say everything, but most of what I know, right, is everything kind of just has to do with your heart and the faith you put in Jesus Christ. And that is probably the same with wealth. But at the same time, we have the Bible Project here to explain Jesus' perspective on wealth. So let's check it out.
Jesus of Nazareth was a first-century Jewish man who claimed that he was uniting God's domain above with our domain below. He called this the arrival of God's kingdom.
Jesus invited people to follow him so they could enter into that heavenly realm here on earth in their day-to-day lives. And that's what he's talking about in the collection of teachings called the Sermon on the Mount.
Now, if you really believed that God's heavenly life was available here and now, that would change your perspective on just about everything,
including your possessions. In fact, Jesus said the biggest obstacle to experiencing God's heavenly life and presence is our stuff. The word Jesus uses literally means the stored up things, so our storage.
Okay. Yeah, some people do have a lot of stuff, but it's natural to collect things. Stuff can make life easier. Stuff can give me security. Stuff gives me freedom.
Well, we think that it does, but Jesus says not so much.
Don't store up your stuff on the land, where moths and nibblers destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. Okay, but what if I just protect my stuff?
All right, but now your attention is going to be on keeping your stuff safe. Jesus says the good life comes when our attention is directed elsewhere.
Store up for yourselves the stuff of the sky. Sky stuff? What's this sky stuff?
Well, it's a kind of stuff that is so secure that it can't ever be threatened. And it's different from our stuff here on Earth. It's the stuff that God's heavenly kingdom is made of. And the more you collect it, the more you'll experience that kingdom here on Earth.
All right, how do I get that kind of stuff?
Well, Jesus said that we can experience God's heavenly kingdom now, when we love God and love our neighbor. It's that rich experience of peace and fulfillment, those moments when heaven and earth unite when we follow the teachings of Jesus.
Like a kind word or an act of generosity? Offering forgiveness and showing compassion?
Yes, store up that kind of stuff. Because the loving relationships that we cultivate now will last into the renewed creation. And what we store up has a way of slowly shaping us in its image, for better or worse. Or, as Jesus puts it,
where your stored up things are, there too will be your heart. Okay, so I should focus my hopes and desires on what really matters.
Right. In fact, next, Jesus uses a vivid image to describe this focus.
The lamp of the body, focus my hopes and desires on what really matters.
Right. In fact, next, Jesus uses a vivid image to describe this focus.
The lamp of the body is the eye. So then, if your eye is good, your whole body will be radiant.
This phrase, good eye, is the figure of speech in the Hebrew Bible for being really generous, while a bad eye is a metaphor for being stingy, hoarding your stuff. Jesus warns that a bad eye is the quickest way to ruin yourself.
But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be dark. If the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Yikes. So maybe I should get in you.
Way to ruin yourself.
But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be dark. If the light that is in you is darkness, how great.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never really understood that metaphor. The lamp of your body is the eye. The lamps dispense light, but the light comes from within. But you use your eye to take in, like your eye reads the reflections of light on everything else. Unless I'm just misinterpreting. Let me rehear this.
Right. In fact, next, Jesus uses a vivid image to describe this focus.
The lamp of the body is the eye. So then, if your eye is good, your whole body will be radiant.
This phrase, good eye, is the figure of speech in the Hebrew Bible for being really generous, while a bad eye is a metaphor for being stingy, hoarding your stuff.
Or is it like your eye takes in the light, so if you're taking in good stuff out there, the light then goes through your eye into the rest of your body and you're good? I still don't really get how it works, I'm gonna be honest, but we'll let it rock.
Jesus warns that a bad eye is the quickest way to ruin yourself.
But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be dark. If the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Yikes. So maybe I should give away all my stuff.
Maybe. Jesus once told a wealthy man to do just that. Ultimately, it's about our priorities. Here, Jesus tells a parable.
No one is able to serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You are not able to serve God and wealth.
Wealth is like a tyrant that demands our loyalty.
I might think I own my stuff, but before long, my stuff will own me.
And this danger is real. And so Jesus is pretty blunt. Our stuff can prevent us from experiencing the union of heaven and earth in our lives.
Okay. But let's be real. I need things to survive. I need food. I need clothes.
Well, Jesus has one final teaching about our stuff that brings all these ideas together. He invites us to consider how God has packed creation with abundance, each creature having just what it needs. Jesus says that if you trust God as a generous father and prioritize loving God and loving others, you will find that your needs are met. And you'll find the rich peace of heaven and earth uniting in your own life.
I say to you all, don't worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, not even about your body, what you'll put on. Isn't life more than food and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, how they don't sow seed and they don't harvest and they don't gather into barns, and yet your Father in the skies feeds them. Aren't you much more valuable than they are? And who among you is able to add an hour to your life by worrying? And about clothing, why are you all so worried? Pay attention to the lilies of the field, how they grow. They don't labor and they don't weave cloth. But I tell you all, not even Solomon in all his glory clothed himself like one of these. Now, if the grass of the field, which is there today and tomorrow is tossed into the furnace, is clothed this way by God, won't he make sure to clothe you all who have so little trust? So then don't be worried, saying, what will we eat? Or what will we drink? Or what will we wear for clothing? For the nations constantly seek for all this stuff. For your Father in the skies knows that you need all this. Rather, first, seek for the kingdom of God, and do right by God, and all these things will be added to you. So then, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow can worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own.
All right, so obviously the lamb thing still didn't come into fruition in my mind, but you know what the funny thing about the clothing is? If you think back to the Garden of Eden, right? Everybody was naked. Well, I say everybody. There was only two people in there, right? They were naked. One, two, they had all the food in abundance they needed. So when Jesus says don't worry about that stuff, he's thinking back to the way humans were made, right? We were naked and we didn't even have to worry. We were just in communion with God and he met all of our needs there. So in the same way they had direct access to God, we have that today through the mediator of Jesus Christ, right? He brings our prayers on behalf of us to God for us so that we can be in direct communion with him in the same, I don't say the same way that was in the garden, right? But in a mimicked way. So even though we wear clothes and we eat food and all that type of stuff, we don't need to worry about it, right? Because, for example, you know, I told my little story one time of how I was doing push-ups one time, and literally I just started crying to God, and I was like, I'm lost. I need help on what to do before I went to school. I go to school, I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna do this. Turns out it wasn't that. Switch majors. Boom. Find out I could do my degree easier, get out sooner, switch majors again. I know the path I want to be on. I try to switch into that. Boom, they tell me there was a mess up in the system. I'm doing this now, and I'm like, you know what? This is God answering my prayers. I thought I was going to the school for this. Boom, switched it up on me. I thought I was changing my major to this. Boom, switched it up on me. But I'm like, this could be my calling. This could be where he wants me and where he wants to place me. So I just listen. And the more I stress and the more I just have to think, he put me here. I don't need to worry. This is his plan and his life. I was bought at a price with the blood of Jesus Christ. Bars. Therefore, I don't need to worry. And that brings comfort to a believer. Knowing that he bought your life so much so you don't have to worry about it. When you buy your phone, does your phone worry? Oh, is he going to drive? No. Think about it. You put the phone in the case. Jesus cloaks us with his case. And he protects us because we were bought. We're his possession. Not only his possession, we're his bride. There's love there. It's not just, oh, I bought this thing and I like it. No, I bought this thing and I freed it because I love it. He not only comforts us, but protects us and mediates for us and talks to us. And importantly, most importantly, loves us. So, you know, I'm not gonna lie, that video, well, you know, just focus on Jesus. Just focus on it. That's the advice for everything. Just focus on Jesus. You know what else would you want to do? Right? All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.